Limitations in what we call, or the industry calls, the penetration of renewable energies into this traditional grids exists, and it varies from nation to nation, from state to state, from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. In Hawaii specifically, these limitations come in the form of the system size, the ability or the amount of power that can be imported into the grid and accepted by the grid. So that's the second limitation. That's called the penetration cap. The other limitation factor, which has nothing to do with those other two limitations, or actually relates in a way, it's called the interconnection limitation. So let me just paint a picture between the difference between net metering and interconnecting. Net metering allows you as a user, home or business, to make power, any surplus power you have, to sell it back to the utility at the retail rate through your kilowatt hour meter, and basically bank solar credits or renewable energy credits in your electrical account. Obviously at night when there's no sun, or when the wind dies, or when that sustainable, renewable resource is not present, now you're borrowing or debiting your electrical account. That's the concept of net metering. So by the end of the year, or whenever the cycle is based, given the jurisdiction, you can be a net zero customer. In other words, you would have generated enough power to suffice your needs without having any surplus beyond that point, or even running short. Interconnection, it's a purely technical approach, which has to do with, if I push this power in a reverse fashion into the grid, what kind of complications can I see on the grid side? The utility stands on one side and says power quality can be compromised by this renewables coming into the grid. If you go to the flip side and you look at the industry, who obviously wants higher penetration levels and less limitations, there are reports that have been done that show that this penetration of renewables into the grid can actually improve with power quality. So my belief is that the truth lays somewhere in the middle, and of course we can't give everything to one side or the other, because we'd be in the extreme. We should travel the middle path. And probably the middle path has to do with how the industry and the utility and the public can meet and travel a common road.